So we had enough by all of those rolling up from the individual schools to have the system not make AYP in special ed. That's the 3 through 5 grade span. 6 through 8 grade span, the same thing. In the high school grade span, our groups that rolled up were our black students and our free and reduced students. I have the individual reports. All of our schools made AYP except Washington County High School. And theirs, I believe, is black and free and reduced. I'll have to look at that to make sure. But I think that's what got them. But everybody else made AYP. Last year, we had one school that was in school improvement year 2 that they cleared this year. It takes 2 years to get into school improvement and 2 years to get out. So what we're going to do this year is hit reading hard and heavy so that our system will not go into school improvement, LEA improvement this next year. I got a call this morning from one of the State Department representatives, and I almost had a heart attack. This was 8 o'clock this morning. She said there's 3 systems in the state that didn't make that they're in LEA improvement, and Washington County is one of them. And I said, no, we're not. And she said, yeah, there's 3, and y'all are one of them. So I pulled my needs assessment from last year. I looked, and it said not in school improvement, and I went straight to the website, pulled these again to make sure that I didn't miss something, and it says not in school improvement. So while I had her on the phone, I was doing all this, and I said, I'm going to argue with the State Department on that because of what I had in my hand. And she said, no, I have it wrong. Y'all didn't make AYP. But according to her, there's only 3 systems in the state that didn't make AYP, and we're one of them. But I don't know. I haven't heard everybody else's report. But anyway, we are not in improvement right now, which is what Larry was referring to a few minutes ago, because we had to set aside. We can set aside up to 20% of our Title I for school choice and transportation and SES. So with us not being in improvement and our schools making AYP, that money will go back in and we're going to have to rebudget. And that's what he was referring to. But if you want to copy these in color, I'll be happy to print them for you. Or you can go to the website and print them yourself. It's up there today. It's posted as of today. And that's the alsde.edu website. So, but I'll be happy to print them for you if you want a copy.
Well, let me ask a question. If we are in improvement, if this doesn't take care of itself, and we're still, the system didn't make AYP next year, then would we be in the, so then you'd have to, the system. So then the funds would, next year.
You have to take even more off the top of the money.
Yeah.
It's less money goes into the school.
Mm-hmm. We have to do an LEA improvement plan, and
You have to take
so
at least
next year before
10%
you know,
of professional development.
Yeah.
So.
How far off are
we've been able to get the accounting system that I think Ms. Betty has it right now. We can get right down to the individual student at each school and tell what they're proficient in and what they need work in. And as soon as we possibly can, we're going to put that in the classroom teacher's hands so that they can know which child needs this and which child needs this. And we're really going to have to focus on our after-school tutoring and the Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3, the intervention and remediation. We're really going to have to focus on what these kids need.
the reading program that we put in last year or so ago that we've had so much fuss on, the 9-minute.
Right.
How effective is it again? Compare it with the one you had before that one.
Well, it's kind of hard to do that because you're not comparing oranges and oranges. You know, the programs are totally, not totally different, but this one has a built-in remediation part to it, where open court, the remediation was, we used a different program for our remediation.
How about the scores in reading with open court?
Well, when we had open court, we had one school, our system was in LEA improvement while we had open court. That was when I first came to central office. We were in LEA improvement that year. The reading program, undoubtedly, it is doing what it's supposed to do because all of our schools made AYP in reading.
We
except for
anticipate
these subgroups.
a slight drop in the reading score at time, but every school cleared, it's a system that would.
But it was you said
It's
the
the
problem
roll-up.
was in the high school, wasn't it?
The high school is, the two subgroups in the high school span are black and free and reduced. The other two grade spans are special ed. And for those kids to count toward a school's AYP, they have to have at least 40 in that subgroup. When they don't have 40, all of those roll up to the system, so that we have 40 in that group. So that's how it is to the system.
We supposed to have been monitoring that, reading program this year. And, according to the documentation that you have, is it doing what it's proposed to do?
It seems to, it appears to be doing what it's supposed to be doing, except for these subgroups, the special ed. So that's one, we're really gonna have to focus on our remediation and look to see what it is these kids need. You know, the high school span, the black, free and reduced, you know, I don't know the answer to what exactly they need till we get the list of kids and get it to where we can analyze it.
We've got to look at some intervention programs for those subgroups.
Let's get an analysis on those, on that first, so you know, you don't need to give them water if they need gigs.
Right, you're exactly right. But one thing on that has come out of the reading program, and it has been a little extra work on the teachers, but one thing is they have had a great diagnostic tool this year, and it's called an item analysis. And it shows them on every test those kids take, they do an item analysis, and it shows them how many kids in their class missed number 1 or number 16, what they actually need to work on in that class. So that's really good, and we're looking at doing that in our math too, but our math scores seem to be doing pretty well right now.
In that character education program, we might need to ask the principals to include a component of test taking and learning skills. Sometimes the children know, they just don't know how to negotiate the test and all. So we might need to ask the principals to ask the teachers. The student I is going to test taking and learning skills.
One way you said that about test taking, I have to make this comment. Mr. Savage will probably see it with his son now that he's in college. Our kids are not prepared for test taking in college. They have been spoon fed for 12 years, and when they get there, they expect to be still spoon fed. They find out it's a different world. I don't know what we need to do there, but that's, when they get to high school, I think we have spoon fed them so long we just keep doing it. And, you know, you know.
I wanted to correct something I said earlier.